I don't like people who play like this. These weird ass openers with trash strategies of like cheesing the fucking rooks. I think that's just absolute garbage. I did it in so many fucking balls. So many actual balls. DMCA? Okay, man. We'll make sure we get DMCA then. Guys, if DMCA fucks me over, guys, I'm sure I can just tweet at her. Right? She'll understand it.
Yeah, hit it from the back, spectacular. I'm a big boss, yeah, ain't no amateur. Yeah, take him to the moon, I'ma take him to the atmosphere. Break the pussy down, yeah, just like an engineer. Bitch, I'm a big dog, I want TikTok, but I'm on a great love. Got a badass bitch in my bed, I'm bedlock. New watch, 2 rock, let her get a go up. Same cat keys, don't restart. I don't give a fuck, watch you jaywalk. I'm going fast. Yeah, never hit a roadblock, post talk. All you do is talk. One thing, one deal, one mission. What is that? Get money. Well, just woke up, I don't give a fuck. Baby, no rules, bitch. Watch me break.
Transformative is subjective. Guys, transformative is subjective.
Our new place and I got good amenities. I'm be honest, I'm not like living here.
I'm not mobbing at all. I'm not even mad. I don't give a fuck.
If you've casually been browsing YouTube for a few years, the chance of you encountering copyright in one shape or another is almost inevitable. The sheer amount of copyright abuse and laws that have been brought into the limelight in recent years differs heavily. Everything from DMCAs being utilized to silence any form of criticism to Article 13 proposed by the mega chat Ajit Pai. But a subject that really hasn't been explored as much as these other subcategories of copyright, and is something I've had on my mind for quite a while, is why Twitch streamers are able to get away with so much more in regards to the copyright system. With Twitch's role as the biggest streaming platform by far, and with its strong resemblance to YouTube when looking at possible competitors, since Twitch has largely been accepted as being the superior platform, likewise in the case of YouTube, but where the two mediums significantly differ are the site's use of regulation, whether that would be willingly or not. It's no secret that YouTube's relationship with advertisers is unstable at best, with the amount of hit pieces investigating various YouTubers and actions that go on the site, whether those under the scrutiny of the mainstream media deserve the treatment they got or not varies. As I'm sure most of you agree that Coca-Cola ads on ISIS videos are bad. But furthermore, the idea of PewDiePie being an alt-right racist Nazi isn't one of sanity. Still, these articles always manage to stir up some kind of reaction from YouTube, which is always seem to be in pure favoritism of the media and the advertisers, which has meant stricter guidelines and categories of content being obviously suppressed. But these problems are arguably not even comparable to the copyright rules on YouTube. Without hesitation, I can confidently say that the YouTube Content ID system is one of the worst inventions created by mankind. There are people on YouTube who've been struck down for songs never even played, songs that played for a second, and even entire channels being hit for having a remixed version of a song in the outro of every single video.
I made a video a couple of weeks ago about the Bohemian Rhapsody thing that's going around. So I made this video about it where I talk about the issue. The video is called "Why is Everybody Lying About Bohemian Rhapsody?" I talk about the issue. I don't play even a fucking microsecond of the song, not at all. Boom, what do I wake up to today? Oh, this claim was manually claimed, not even an automatic detection. Some motherfucker, fuck you.
So over the past couple of days, I've had pretty much every single video I've ever made and uploaded onto the channel copyright claimed, which means 100% of the money made from the videos does not go to me, it goes to whoever claimed the video. You probably know my outro music, it's Beach Walk by a group called Whitewoods, and these guys were more than happy for me to use the song. We got kind of like an unwritten agreement where, you know, they've seen the outro, they don't really care, they're like, yeah, YouTube is using it, that's cool, who cares. The only problem is that song that they allowed me to use was actually sampled from another song, and if you compare the two in the opening, they are pretty similar. even though the Whitewoods Beach Walk song has been like pitch shifted, messed around with and remixed. But apparently it wasn't enough for the YouTube Content ID bot to just go absolutely ham on my channel and claim everything.
The list goes on, and I haven't even mentioned the people abusing the system to silence criticism. If it isn't clear yet, YouTube's copyright system is an absolute train wreck. So when looking towards Twitch, a platform of a lessened but still similar popularity, you would be expected to see these same kinds of issues play out. But surprisingly, Twitch's stance on copyright is far less governing with regards to rules and regulations. This becomes very apparent when you take a look at the top of Twitch, who almost all classify themselves as React Andies, which is basically a way of saying that they rely heavily on the content created by other creators to fill out their 5 to 10 hour streams. And whilst this in itself isn't a huge problem for me, as I know that some streamers actually are quite entertaining with a few exceptions. When looking through the very simple copyright rules on Twitch, this becomes a completely different story. So the paragraph that I'll be focusing on is the intellectual property rights. This refers to all sorts of creations, such as, but not limited to, music, paintings, movies, and more. Intellectual property is protected by law through copyright, patents, and trademarks, which are used to make sure that creators are recognized and are able to financially profit from people exploiting said copyright material. This is where Twitch gets into the picture. As I've been hinting at, some Twitch streamers do not respect the intellectual property to the extent of YouTubers. But to see if the treatment many streamers tend to have in regards to exploiting copyright material is allowed, we'll need to look at the rules. The first paragraph is about what you should be posting on Twitch, referring to content that you own the intellectual property rights to. You should only share content on Twitch that you own or that you are otherwise authorized to share on Twitch. The next thing brought up is fair use, which, if you're not aware, fair use is a law implemented in the United States meant to allow limited uses of copyrighted material. The guidelines you have to follow for something to be considered fair use are actually not as confusing as you might think, and contrary to popular belief, it's not subjective. Fair use can only be decided in court, and every case is looked at with the same factors. The 4 factors judges consider are the purpose and character of your use, which is about whether or not the work you're using has been transformed by adding something new to the copyrighted work. This can be anything from adding your own thorough commentary, editing the video in a plethora of ways, thereby transforming the work. There are plenty other methods of transforming the copyrighted work. This is just a few of them. The nature of the copyrighted work. This is about what the work is and explains that the work used has a better argument for being fair use if the work is factual rather than fictional, since it encourages the spread of new ideas, which is beneficial to the public. The amount and substantiality of the portion taken. Here the court looks at how much of the copyrighted work has been taken and copied. Generally, less copyrighted material is better. And lastly, the effect of the use upon the potential market. This basically looks at whether or not the work has a positive or negative impact on the market. If the work overall has a negative impact on the copyright owner's income, that will be taken into account. Let's say that you are a YouTuber. You spent months on this one video. You're finally able to upload that piece of content. It does decently well. Then a streamer finds your video and reacts to it. But instead of reacting, maybe giving some commentary, he might eat a salad. Maybe he left for a couple of minutes after finishing. He most likely uploads that reaction to a reaction channel he has. This is a blatant example of what wouldn't be considered fair use. This is a case most referred to as open and shut, since this is blatant violations of copyright law. The rules then go on to explain that sharing unauthorized content may lead to a takedown of the copyrighted material, and that multiple violations would lead to a permanent suspension. Then at the bottom, Twitch lists some examples of content that cannot be shared on Twitch without permission from the copyrighted owner. And with that, I'd like to transition to my own example of a Twitch streamer who's broken multiple of these examples listed below, and Twitch has done nothing about it. He's not the only one, but he's definitely a contender for most violations that I've been able to find. XQC has broken the intellectual property rules more times than I can count. He's in no way the only one though. Twitch is a platform that has been deeply implemented into the culture of React Anti, or as it's more commonly known as, content feed. This is a method many Twitch streamers utilize, as streaming for so many hours apparently gives them a pass from copyright laws, which sure enough is complete bullshit.
This is the most frustrating thing because I'm a fucking React Anti myself. Like, I get so mad at this when YouTubers literally fucking sit around, okay, and they make one fucking video. They make one fucking video a month and get like Patreon money, or they make like 2 fucking videos a week max, okay? And then they cash out with like a 6-figure check because they have a sea of simps. And then they turn around and shit on streamers who literally fucking go live for 6 to 8 hours every day. Like, that's nuts, dude. Of course there's gonna be dead space in between, you stupid fuck. This shit genuinely tilts me, dude. It genuinely tilts me. You could make a compilation of me sitting around, not even on camera, with a fucking video playing in the background. You could, when you're live for 13 hours a fucking day, of course there's gonna be fucking dead space in between, dead air in between. It's so dumb.
I usually don't look down on people for the kind of content they decide to do. I genuinely don't care how you make your money, as long as it's legally and morally right, which this isn't. This is not only against copyright law, but also Twitch's rules, so the argument that it's part of Twitch culture doesn't hold up, since it's against the rules to share content from other sites without permission. And whilst fair use still is an argument on Twitch, since you're streaming and unable to cut anything out, the argument that the streamer is actively taking away potential viewers from the original video is much more applicable, which means that the argument for fair use is much harder to be made on Twitch. But somehow nothing seems to be done about this blatant breaking of the rules, which leads me to the belief that Twitch doesn't care about copyright. But to bring back the focus, XQC is a well-known streamer who's very prominent in not only the Twitch community, but his status on YouTube is definitely nothing to scoff at. He's been on the platform for a while and his main focus seems to be gaming, but in between he lets his viewers submit videos for him to watch and has the legal knowledge of what I imagine your average Twitch streamer has.
Transformative is subjective.
About her and she's copyright strike
Guys,
them.
transformative is subjective.
If you make a video that is negative about her, she's gonna try to gun you. And I'm not the one saying that. That's her.
And I had spoken to my MCN and I was like,
I'm not molding at all. I'm not even mad. I don't give a fuck. It's just because this isn't an attack to her, and I'm not defending her. I just feel like transformative is subjective. You transforming something and somebody else, they're both transformative in their own way, dude. And sometimes if you think that it's not, sometimes it's not because it's not transformative. It might be because you don't understand like the culture or the whatever. It's just kind of how it is.
Like 80% of Pokimane streams is just her watching videos, adding actually nothing to what she's watching whatsoever. There's times where she's just straight up eating while watching YouTube while people donate to her.
I do that though. I do that too. I love doing that. That's fucking Pogi, dude. Everybody does that shit.
Yeah, believe it or not, but just because everyone on Twitch steals other people's content doesn't mean that it's legally justified. XQC's reactions are on a level I never thought was attainable. I could almost call it Jinx level reactions, but I guess that's just another React harder take on live streaming. Before showing the examples, let me just say that the Twitch community just don't know how to argue fair use. So let me debunk a few claims. Just because the reaction was made on Twitch doesn't make fair use any different. Also, the argument that people who watch your streams would never watch the original video is a legal argument I would love to see in court. You would basically have to prove that none of the Twitch viewers would watch these videos otherwise, which is basically impossible. Now let's get on to XQC breaking the rules. A lot.
Copyright claims exist all over YouTube, but most of the time they just claim the video, so the video stays up and they take the money. So why would Pokimane actually take down videos? Well, if there's one thing that I've learned while watching her streams and watching how she reacts to criticism and whatnot, it's that Pokimane has this image that she's trying to maintain. And she's really trying to maintain that image. And the image is that she is not a titty streamer.
I took down a guy's video, and because of that, I'm like a Twitch thought. And
Guys,
just
video's almost done.
Was it worth it? And then 17,000 people thought that that was a cool thing to do. Nice! Oh, is this a video where some random dude behind a VR machine calls a girl a thought for 20 minutes?
Oh, the guys did it tomorrow?
Dude, that isn't her. Of course not. No matter what, they can't see her as a titty streamer because her entire image is built on this idea of respect. And she is not that person that if you donate $30 to her, she's gonna run around and bend over on stream. She's actually much worse. There's no fucking comparison at all.
What? Guys,
This
listen.
is the part where I try to win a little bit of her fan base over to establish some crossover. Just kidding. If you're a Pokimane fan, I have no respect for you as a human being.
Hopefully I don't need to argue that reactions produced by XQC just can't be considered fair use. These reactions are 100% taking views away from the original videos. If not for the blatant rips onto his stream, then the following re-upload onto his channel definitely rests my case. He's literally competing against the original videos by uploading them onto YouTube. These reactions are not transformative either. The amount of silence in these reactions is insane. But to be fair, most of the reactions, not only XQC's but all streamers, are made in response to a video from YouTube. And the chance of a YouTuber caring enough to take a streamer to court to conclude whether a video is fair use is slim at best. But something I discovered with XQC, he doesn't just react to YouTubers' videos. For some reason, and don't ask me why, but he thought it would be a good idea to react to mainstream television programs, such as To Catch a Predator, a well-known series airing from 2004 to 2007, where it was cancelled after the host Chris Hansen found himself in quite the controversy. This show has been incredibly popular in pop culture, and especially on YouTube, where clips from the show easily obtain millions of views. So it's fair to say that the show is very interesting to a wide audience. XQC is well aware that watching this show will entertain his viewers, but with his lackluster reactions, this is just blatant piracy. No longer is he stealing content from YouTubers. He's blatantly streaming NBC content with no consequences, which is another example listed in the guidelines, showing movies, television shows, or sports matches without permission. Now that I've hopefully substantiated that Twitch streamers are knowingly or not abusing copyright, I think a valid question would be, why does Twitch seemingly not care about some of their most prominent creators essentially breaking the law? And to comprehensively answer that question, I'll find an answer through a different situation that didn't positively end in the streamer's favor. The Digital Millennium Copyright Act, more commonly referred to as DMCA, is a copyright law that is implemented in the United States. DMCA has several uses. For one, it gives web hosts and internet service providers a safe harbor from copyright infringement claims if they implement certain notice or takedown procedures. This means that platforms won't be held accountable for the people using said platform to publish copyrighted work without proper permission, as long as the website provides a way to either strike down the content or claim it, which would make the monetary stream go towards the claimant, as long as it's a valid claim. For many of the people on YouTube, this stuff is almost common knowledge at this point. Like I said, the copyright system on YouTube is severely overused, which should come as a surprise for just about no one at this point, with corporations and creators working together to make as much money on this broken system. Throughout the years, there have been many examples of the system working terribly. Take for example FouseyTube. Back in the day, Fousey was very disliked in multiple communities for valid reasons. Many videos were made, but none as iconic as FouseyTube, an alternate reality, made by Colossal is Crazy. This video obviously didn't sit well with Fousey, as he was very well known for not taking criticism in the kindest way. So he decided to claim the video, even though he definitely knew that it was fair use. Colossal then decided to do a counterclaim, since he believed that it was an obvious case of fair use, which it was. And with the way the system worked, the power was all in Fusi's hands, since he gets to decide whether the video actually is fair use. With the way the system works, Fusi would have to decide whether the video would be kept up in the span of 30 days. So Colossal waited and waited, and on the 30th day, after the video had made the most amount of money possible, he took down the video. Luckily in this case, the community all got together to support Colossal and deliver a big fuck you to FusiTube. So the system obviously isn't perfect in the case of YouTube. So when a lot of videos started to pop up about Twitch's supposed DMCA problem, I, like many others, felt bad, as YouTube had been experiencing DMCA problems for years. But it wasn't until I actually watched some of the streamers' problems that my demeanor towards the situation changed. Basically, to summarize this story, Twitch streamers have been using copyrighted music in the background for years now. And finally, after all these years, the corporations started to notice. So that meant that almost every streamer got hit, as it had been the norm to use copyrighted music for years. People were advised by Twitch go back and delete all their content or get striked, which would mean suspensions, but other issues emerged with that solution. With the rise of DMCAs on Twitch, many of the streamers who had been ignoring copyright law for years started to voice their concern, and that was the first time where I realized how uninformed most streamers were in regards to intellectual property law. The Twitch community had been taking advantage of the lack of eyes put towards them by the real world, and now that the real world had caught up to Twitch, many of the streamers weren't ready yet. So why did this happen? As I said, the real world had been ignoring Twitch since it generally wasn't that big a deal up until a few years ago. Twitch as a platform is still fairly new, just like many of the top entertainment platforms, but especially Twitch. So with this lack of care put towards the platform by the big corporations and the law, Twitch obviously didn't put too much effort into regulating these rules, since nobody would care if they didn't. So now that Twitch has become significantly more mainstream, the corporations who earlier ignored Twitch now looks at it with green in their eyes, as they should, since these streamers have been breaking copyright law by using copyrighted music without permission. This was not only against copyright law, but also against Twitch's own rules again, showing a clear lack of understanding or simply neglect of copyright rules by Twitch streamers. So to answer the aforementioned question as to why the same rules seemingly do not apply for Twitch streamers, the best answer I have is that the service generally haven't had as much time to grow and develop like YouTube. So the service will obviously be treated different, just like you usually treat the younger child with more care and let them get away with much more, since they're extremely new and need to learn what is right and wrong. And now that DMCAs are beginning to pop on the platform, it would seem as if Twitch as a platform is growing up, and all I can really say to Twitch streamers, good luck. With growth comes responsibility, and I would advise all Twitch streamers to take advantage of the amount of freedom you have right now, because one day this freedom you have might just go away, or you could just move to wait.
4 vids, 2 weeks, man, I feel like Johnny Depp. All these pills, no wonder why your ass is slapped. Charge are big, moves are big, but I do not overstep. I get my money somehow, but I do not want no counterfeit.
Alright, this is it. This is okay, I'm gonna answer like truthfully. Don't judge my answers, you little bitches. Don't judge my answers. I fixed the score already. Oh, come on. No autism, boys. No autism. No autism. No autism.
Move too dumb.
Yeah, that's my golden rule.